Well, my name is Anne-Marie Wogan, and I run a coaching and leadership business called Adora, and we're a global leadership and coaching business that serves the med tech, pharma, biotech, health tech world. Yeah.
So tell me about a little bit of the challenges that are going on in kind of running companies in the medtech space at the moment. Who's coming to you for help?
Yeah, I think we have lots of different groups, from executive teams to CEOs for one-on-one coaching to also working with teams throughout the organisation. I think what people are realising is we live in a very busy world and there's a lot of change happening at the moment, and you really need to spend time developing your people and giving them tools and frameworks that they can actually call on to help them lead themselves better, but also work more effectively, collaboratively, and really to help have tools to build high-performing teams. And what we do is we give exec teams and their leaders visual tools to help them be able to communicate more effectively, deepen relational trust, be more aligned. I think sometimes we're very busy in this space and alignment can be an issue. We can think we can be aligned, but we're not aligned, and then we're wondering why we're not executing effectively, and you really need to build capacity. And that doesn't mean have more people. You're building capacity and leadership skills with the people you've currently got.
So talk to me a little bit about some of those frameworks. What do you see is really important in this particular space for leaders to bring?
Yeah, well, I think we've developed a framework called the Maximising Team Performance Framework, and we really need to start at the foundation, which is communication. Again, everyone to understand their leadership style, how they communicate and lead, and how different they are to other people on their team. Because embracing diversity and being more inclusive is key. But sometimes we communicate and lead how we would like to be communicated to and led. But we need to remember that the people that we're talking to can be very different to us, and giving teams skills to make sure that they understand their own strengths, that people first understand who they are, what their superpowers are, what's their core strength as a person, what areas are always going to be a challenge for them, but importantly then learning to bring out the superpowers of the people they work with. And one thing we sort of see quite frequently is you need to have frameworks to help make sure that when your teams are working together, that there's people with different leadership styles working together, not people with the same leadership.
Yeah.
So, and making sure you're hearing everyone, and getting that psychological safety so that you're not just hearing the more forceful, powerful voices, that you actually have frameworks to help make sure that you've got rules of engagement framework to make sure you're hearing everyone on it. Because sometimes the quieter voices, least forceful, have great opinions, great ideas, but we need to make sure that we're empowering them to be heard.
And that consistency as well. So I'm sure you've got many leaders in an organisation whose staff want to know that they're getting a similar kind of leadership style wherever they go. Your frameworks would really help with that. I guess you talk to so many leaders in the space, in medtech, or in the regulation space. What's happening? What do you think the challenge and how leaders are facing at the moment in the space? So lots changing. You've got AI. The whole thing of the conference is looking into the future. What are you seeing as the real challenges?
Yeah, well, the workshop I led yesterday was on change. So there's lots of change happening, and how can you communicate and lead change effectively for your people? That's really important. So, change, it's an easy word to say, but you need to have frameworks to help make sure that your people are buying into the change, that you're actually listening to them, getting their opinions as you're actually rolling out change. And what we really notice is one of the most important things I spoke about is not only communication, but in leading change, you need to have a very strong foundation of trust in the business, that people trust you, they trust the change that you're rolling out. I think another big challenge is retention of staff. Keeping staff, training up staff, making sure they want to stay with businesses, and also engagement of staff. Gallup some great data recently around that in any one organisation, 17% of your staff are disengaged.
And why do you think that is?
Oh, look, I think some people don't like change, so maybe they start to switch off. I think also if people don't feel connected to the organisation anymore, we're still working in a bit of a virtual world. And I think that's why companies need to look at investment and leadership programs. Your people are your biggest asset, but they're also your biggest liability if you don't invest in them. But I think in the fast-paced world we're operating, I strongly believe that you can engage, motivate staff by developing them, just spending some time on some workshops and giving them tools to be a better version of themselves. Sometimes we overly focus on all the technical stuff, be it clinical trials, training our people up on diseases and products. But the soft skills part of the business is actually so important. How you can empower your people to bring their best every day to work, to be the best version of themselves. It's easy when we're stressed and under pressure to be very accidental in how we lead and behave, but getting them to think, oh, how can you come to work, be more intentional in how you show up in a meeting, remembering who you are, what's your leadership style, who's everyone else in the room. And it's not only about internal. A lot of the work in the med tech and pharma biotech spaces, we have to operate very closely with our external stakeholders, government, healthcare professionals, and sometimes we can be that best version of ourselves outside the business. I say sometimes when I was working in Celgene, I was the good teenager with my external stakeholders, give all my energy to them, but sometimes was accidental or the naughty teenager inside the business. What we need to realise is, as employees, you need to try and get that balance right. Both sets of stakeholders inside the business and outside are equally important. And how do you get that balance? And well-being. Well-being is another key component. I think burnout's an issue. In this sector, we work ourselves very, very hard, and realising that sometimes it's not a good thing that we don't have that balanced productivity at home and at work, which is critical to being the best version of yourself. You don't want to just go home when you're too tired to engage with your family and spend time with them. So well-being, I have a talk on it tomorrow on well-being and some tools around how to help your people realise you need to operate in different gears every day and with different people. And to think about yourself, what are you doing for self-care for you? Self-care, recharge needs to be every day for everyone. And when you coach people and talk to people, sometimes people don't do anything for recharge and no exercise.
It's a full-on job being a leader, I think, today in any industry, particularly in health or any pharma, biotech, medtech space. It's no mean feat. And final words before we wrap up about ARPS, the conference, about kind of what you see next in the space?
Oh, look, it's always great to come to ARPS. It's a great networking event, number one, because it's in person and we miss that. And it's great to have these great minds come together. And Tim and the team have done a phenomenal job with the sessions, and people are always excited about it's a business development opportunity for the companies who are here, but it's also just that connection to have it and really to hear what's happening on the ground with the leaders is so important for us in Adora Leadership and Coaching. And if anyone would like to know more about what we do, they can go to our website, adoragroup.com.au, and find me on LinkedIn. And it's a real pleasure. It's great to have health tech talking here, because I think sometimes this industry can be quite shy about presenting. So it's, you're putting us out of our comfort zone coming to present. Yeah, so thanks so much for having me.